Shabbat Shalom, friends.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I want to welcome everyone here and tell you that we are on page 339 or page 357 in your prayer books. And I'm going to, for those who are on our Zoom, I'm going to include the link to the prayer book into the chat if you don't have it, even though it was sent out. And so I'm going to send right now to everybody if you need the prayer book. But I want to invite you to pray tonight with us, all your heart, opening yourself up to whatever comes tonight. Again, we begin with the words, the whole world is a very narrow bridge, but the most important part is not to be afraid. Page 339 in the prayer book, 257 in your app.
גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד.
Once again, if you joined us, I want to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. We're going to continue with the words of Shalom Aleichem, page 24 in your prayer books or page 42 if you're following along in our PDF packets.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Shalom, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And so we prepare to kindle our lights of Shabbat as we turn to page 2 in our prayer books or page 20 in your PDF packets. And I'll invite all of us, if you have candles, to light along with me, and if not, just to join as I do tonight. We take in the light of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We move forward in our prayer books to page number 5 as we join together for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kibanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol alamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen. L'chaim to all of you.
And so we're going to join together in the words of L'chadodi. We are on page 20 in our prayer books or page 38 in our PDF package.
Shamor
rise together, verse 9.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בזמרה וצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לחדותי לקלה יאללה יאללה נשבת נקבלה יאללה לחדותי לקלה יאללה יאללה נשבת נקבלה.
We're going to remain standing as we turn to page 28 in our prayer books or page 46 in our PDF packets for the Baruch Hu.
Join us from home.
We're seated together. There's a special melody that we do at our congregation, B'chokhmah Poteach, that with wisdom God opens the gates. That night turns to day and day turns to night. And at this time where so much seems up in the air, so much seems like we are ungrounded, we know that the sun will always set and the sun will always rise in the morning. And sometimes that can be the single grounding force that allows us to build up from there.
Before the wind I am weak, before the sun I faint, I lose my strength, I lose my strength. Vanquished by a star, I go to my knees, I lose my strength, I lose my strength. Before the wind of a bird, before the breath of spring or fall, I am lost, nothing at all. Before the miracles, Baruch atah Adonai Hamarim
We're together on page 32 or page 50 in your PDF packets, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בכוחך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet.
We're on page 57 or page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. There's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Page 40, Micha Mocha.
So we thought we'd do a little bit of a mashup tonight, a mashup of two questions. One, Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai, who is like you? The question of questions. And another, actually, a whole series of questions we call the Manishtana, that we're going to in just a few nights be asking at our table, what's so different about this night? We've got a whole lot that's different, especially this year. And I thought I would teach everyone this melody that I love for Manishtana. It's not my grandma's Manishtana. It's actually from the Sephardic tradition, and it goes like this. So we're going to use that melody tonight for the Micha Mocha. I hope you'll go with me on it. It's fun. Micha Mocha, Marim Adonai, Kamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Norati Lord, O Sevele, Malchutecha, Rauvanecha, Raunecha, Ukeayam, Ifne Moshe, Umiriam, Seili, Anu ve'amru, Adonai lo, Leolam va'ed Leolam va. One more time, Manyanalai. Yalai-lai-lai, 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 yalai-lai-lai. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We move forward to page 42, Hashkivenu, or page 60 in your PDF packets.
סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
In a moment, I'm going to invite you to turn forward in your prayer books to page 155 or page 173 in your PDF packets. And we're going to join together in this opening meditation, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, asking God to open our mouth that our lips may declare God's praise. Sometimes doing that's easier than others. This has been a hard week for a lot of us. And sometimes being able to pray to God is something really hard to do when the world seems like it's falling apart around us. And so sometimes we have to ask for help. We have to say, I don't necessarily have much to say. I may not have joys to share. I might only have fear in my heart. But God, when I'm ready to pray, those words will come. And so help them find felicity. And so again, we're on page 155 or page 173. I'll invite us to rise, and after this opening meditation, I'll invite us to join silently through page 167 in your prayer book.
שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך.
שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך.
So as we walk out of this sacred silence, we pray that the words that were spoken aloud and the ones that are still living there in our hearts, that have yet to find their way into the air, into being witnessed, that they all be accepted, that they all be heard, that they be whole, that they be honest, that they be truth, that God, in whatever way, each one of us in our unique way understands God moving through this world, through our lives, that God is there hearing and witnessing for us, holding us.
יהיו לי רצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לי רצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לי רצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לי רצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך.
So before we pray for the health of those that we love, we first pray for the healers. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides, EMTs and pharmacists, hospital social workers, and respiratory therapists, who navigate the unfolding dangers of the world each day to tend to those they have sworn to help. Bless them in their coming home and bless them in their going out. ease their fear, sustain them. Source of all blessing, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may bring strength, keep them in health that they may bring healing. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands. May this plague pass from among us speedily and in our day. We now pray for those who are ill and who are in need of healing, who are in need of a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body, mind, soul, and spirit. And so we're together on page 253 or page 271 in your packets. And so I'll read our list, which is long this week. And then afterwards, I'll invite us to join together in singing of Misha Berach. Ephraim ben Wolf, Rachalea, Mimi Jacobs, Joshua Gendel, Ann Rosenberg, Harab Meir, Simcha ben Shena, Eileen Smith, Zachariah Yaakov ben Karen, Kira D'Agostino, Yehudit Devora bat Tova Umoshe, Jill Turetsky, Laura Bellamy, Bonnie Horowitz, Lori Ann Romali, Linda Paintner-Levine, Charlotte Ganzer, Andrea Pinelli, Claude Pomper, Edith Shavat, Minna Seaman, Lila Margolis, Sharon Rosen, Randy Lowe, Miriam Bat Esther, Joanne Jelsky-Fusco, Jane Raitt, Stephen Raitt, Lillian Wexler, Ed Lillian Schmidt, Esther Gittel Bat Rivka, Jerry Hoffman, Gabrielle Bat Chava, Deegan Kaiser, Dave Patnoy, Baralev Ben Pinchas V'Ruchalea, Alexander Roberts, Rosalind Wellner, Irving Berner, David Ben Henu, Elijah Richards, Phyllis Natter, Wolf Lev Ben Pesach Esther, Diane Felder, Stephen Penny, Roberta Sandler Feld, Barbara Lesser, Nachman Zalman Ben Rachalea, Phyllis Schenkman, Jean Siegel, Sherry Neuwirth, Celia Zizel, Paul Leggett, Phil Murphy, Harriet Hainig, Bracha Devora, Bat Chai Sarah Israel, Diane Horowitz, Joe Wojak, Dr. Irving Butterman, Jack Allard, Avraham Yitzchak, George Eileen Green, Yonatan Israel Ben Rivka, and Wendy Blum.
Blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
I'll invite you to add your names into the chat if you want to add additional names. Shabbat Shalom. I want to talk a little bit about this week's Torah portion, because although it is one of the more technical Torah portions in our Torah, dealing with sacrifices of all kind, the thing that's always struck me, and something that I love to teach our kids, I think actually I reenacted it last year in religious school, was the ritual that used to be known as Trumat Hadeshin. It's in our portion that one of the key pieces to the sacrifice was picking up last night's trash. We would leave something burning all night as a sign that we weren't going to take God's sacrifice off the fire. And in the morning, it would essentially be garbage. It would be on the ground, ashes, needing to be cleaned up for the next day. Now, this was considered the most meritorious of all of the sacrifices that one could do. Now, there are debates throughout time about why exactly that is. Maybe it's to show that even the mundane, the menial is holy. But I actually think potentially the reason is because it was the first act of the day. And it showed what was called zrizut, alacrity, excitement about doing what should be done. And so everybody wanted a piece of this sacrifice, but only one person could do it. And so it used to be that the young Turks, the young people of the priestly class would line up on the base of a really steep staircase, and they would start racing up. They would run up as fast as they possibly could, and whoever reached the top first, that person would be the one who would get to clean the ashes. Now, there's conflicting reports in our Talmud about exactly what happened. Some say that one person was pushed and he ended up breaking an ankle and he got injured. Another person says that, in fact, actually, people were so competitive that somebody actually took a knife and killed a person who was in front of them so he could be the first one. Nevertheless, what happened was our ancestors realized it was dangerous. And so they said that never again would there be a race to determine who could sweep up the night's ashes. Instead, what would happen is that it would be done by lot. People would come together, and it wouldn't matter if you were fast or you were slow, if you were young, if you were old. It was democratizing. People would pull straws, and whoever got the short straw, whoever won their lot, whoever let chance happen, that person would become the one who would get to sweep up the night's ashes from the night before. Now, I've been thinking a lot about that in light of the fact that I wonder what it felt like to be young and to suddenly be someone who was in the running for this great honor, who might have been second or third or come in first sometimes, to say to themselves, you know what, there's a lot of priests, and the chance of me ever actually picking one out, well, that's really difficult. And I'm going to lose my good chance of being able to sweep up the ashes in order to allow a democratizing spirit and for everyone to have a chance and to preserve the safety of those around us. In a way, that kind of giving spirit, that openness, that love of the human being, the wish that other people won't get injured, so you're going to sacrifice a bit of your chance, a bit of your freedom to allow other people a chance at success and also a chance at safety to not have to race up that long staircase. That's something that I imagine many of us are feeling now. There are many groups in our community. There are young and there are old. And right now, I'm looking around the world, and specifically I'm looking in our neighborhood. And the thing that's surprising me is not the fact that there are people who are partying in Miami, or that there are still people who are congregating in playgrounds when they probably shouldn't be, or walking too close to one another, but that the far majority of the people in our sphere are actually sacrificing for the greater good. Now, this virus is a scary virus. And the truth is, unlike in, let's say, China, it does impact people between the ages of 25 and 45, just like it impacts people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. But the general consensus among us is that there are multiple reasons why we are staying home. We might be staying home in order to preserve our safety, but actually many of us are staying home to preserve the safety of others as well. It might be someone in your house who's immunocompromised, even if you're not worried about yourself. It might be people that you might meet on the street because you don't know if you're a carrier or not. But this idea that you're going to give up something of your own to preserve the safety of the people around you is a hard-fought truth that takes its root even 2,000 and 3,000 years ago when our ancestors decided to no longer run this race. To know that there are economic consequences to people staying home, there are personal consequences, mental health consequences, but that the health of the hospital workers, the health of our neighbors, the health of our friends, and the health of the stranger that we may not know, but we might run into on the street is paramount. Our Torah portion teaches us to love our neighbor through acts of generosity by giving up something in order to preserve them. And every single one of us is doing that as well. If you're not doing it enough, you can do it more. But the key is to watch your actions and to know that even if it feels like you are staying in place, you are acting out of love. We often think that the way to take care of our neighbors is to do grand gestures, showing up at soup kitchens or giving money or cleaning trash or doing things in community. And I was reflecting with somebody recently about what the world looked like post-Sandy and how we all came together. Well, I have to say that generosity of spirit that we saw post-Sandy is being done right now, just in a different way. Staying put itself is such an act of love because you give up your freedom for the health and well-being of others. And so I want to say, even when you feel like you are going stir crazy at home, know that that simple act is one of the greatest acts of compassion that you can possibly be doing for another. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn to page 300 in our PDF packets or page 282. And I want to invite us all to rise for Elena.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, ויגור עלינו ככל המונם. מה אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
On page 287 or page 305. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We turn together to page 294 or page 312. And as I read the names of those who we are observing yahrzeit, I'll invite you to accept those names into your heart. And if you want, even though we can't see you, to rise. Emmanuel Abraham, Max Adelman, Kenton Benedict, Harold Berman, Bella Busin, Jacob Cohen, Sani Chaim Daniels, Stan Fader, Sam Feingold, Meyer Fishman, Dave Fox, Rudolph Gross, Joseph Hammer, Sydney Horowitz, Aaron Kaplan, Sadie Katz, Leo Kolinsky, Harry Lawrence, Barbara June Mankus, Rebecca Marcus, William Marks, John McNamara, Razel Mishonik, Marvin Neisberg, Martha Newman, Sam Nussbaum, Francis Oxman, Sylvia Pimes, Ida Radish, Muriel Rifkin, Alma Rose, J. Lauren Rosenberg, Gilda Savitt, Dora Sachs, Shirley Sayar, Sam Sherman, Beryl Sondak, Dorothy Sugarman, Nona Teichman, Eleanor Levin Trachtenberg, John Twayers, Vincent Urzo, Alice Weiner, Patricia Woodward, Julia Yassin, Stephen Zeisel, and Itzhak Zimmerspitz. And for those who are observing their Shiva and Shloshim periods of mourning. This list, by the way, is, I think, the longest I have ever seen it. And so as I read these names, I want you to really pay attention, not only to the deceased, but also to the names of their loved one who are mourning them. And maybe if you feel so inclined, to reach out to them and offer them your love. We think of Janet Gilberg, mother of Arlene Krauss, Donatien Laurent, father of Rabbi Anne Laurent, Mara Kochba, sister of Lauren Glassman, Harold Sterling, father of Brian Sterling, Renee Jacobson, mother of Beth Adelman, and Anita Cassell, wife of Jack Cassell, mother of Morgan and Courtney Cassell. And 3 deaths to announce, for which we will be observing funeral and Shiva rites throughout this next week. Francine Hirsch, a longtime member, mother of Paul Hirsch, will be having a private funeral on Sunday and a gathering afterwards, many months afterwards, for an unveiling that the community will be invited to. Andrew Cohen, husband of Karen Cohen, father of Harris and Aaliyah Cohen. And we will be laying Andrew to rest on Sunday as well, with a community virtual Shiva at 7 p.m. on Monday night. And Lauren Smith, sister of Eric Rosendorf, sister-in-law of Jeff Channon. And our community will be coming together for them on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Our condolences go out to their families. And I know that we will all come together to support one another in this time. And so I'll invite you to add any other names, either of people that you're observing a yard site for, or people that you are in your 1-year period of mourning for, in the chat function if you are on Zoom with us. As together we turn to page 294 or page 312. And I'll invite you all to rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrach l'rutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayed l'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Damiram b'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
You know, Rabbi, I'm struggling with what to end our service with, because I'm desperate to get us to turn our hearts towards Pesach. I'm just desperate for it. And
it might be a good time to announce the Seder for those who don't know also.
Yeah, that would be a great thing.
Yeah, so because we are desperate to turn our hearts toward Pesach, we have a Seder coming up. And so it's going to be our second night Seder. It's going to be Thursday night. Please, look out on your Egeret had information about that, but there'll be another email coming out with tips if you're running your own Seder for the first night or even on the second. And also information more about our second night Seder. So please, you can sign up. You can find that information. And we've got programming throughout the course of the whole week as well. And so take a look at your Igeret, see what is coming up, and we'll support each other through this by celebrating our holiday of freedom.
Indeed, and a little Dayenu to get us started. Any of it would be probably sufficient enough just to be in our homes healthy, just to be able to sit around the table with maybe a family member or two, to be able, Dayenu, to have a whole Seder with hundreds of people from our community. Dayenu, Dayenu. I don't know, you fill in your own Dayenus this year. Maybe a little bit more challenging than in years past, or a lot, but we still have to dig in for our Dayenus. So here we go. Dayenu natan natan lanu natan lanu. Sorry, that's not it. Ilu hotzi hotzi anu mi mitzrayim hotzi anu mi mitzrayim dayenu 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 Shabbat. Ilu natan natan lanu et Shabbat. Natan lanu et Shabbat. Last time. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.